Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles, where we have something pretty spectacular for you today in this Tier 9 ranked battle here on the Okinawa map. This, you might actually know him from Twitch, is Trenlas in the Pan-American Tier 9 battleship, the Los Andes. In my opinion, these new Pan-American battleships are very good. And I'll show you why it is that I think that. But before we get into all that and see exactly what it is about them that makes them so special, could I perhaps interest you in trying out a new browser? You can support the channel 100% free by trying out Opera GX, the browser for gamers, by going to operagx.gg/jingles8 or just clicking the link in the video description. Opera GX is leaner, meaner and a whole lot faster than certain other popular browsers, allowing you to limit things like exactly how much memory and processor cycles the browser is using, so if you're playing a game with the browser running in the background, the game doesn't turn into a slideshow. Although if you were to put a gun to my head and demand that I pick a personal favourite feature about Opera GX, that would probably be the ability to mod the browser, allowing you to completely customise the look, sound and feel of the browser from a huge range of thousands of different mods, all available at the GX store. Or, if you're feeling adventurous, you can create your own. Although a close second would probably be Aria, the intelligent search agent, which is way better than a simple Google search. And since Space Marine 2 appears to be a bit of a hot topic at the moment, and deservedly so, it's an excellent, if very, very hard game, let's use Aria to find out where and for how much we can get our hands on a copy. What a time to be alive. You know what? Let's mod our browser. I mean, we're in the mood for a bit of Warhammer 40k, so why the hell not? And again, available from the Opera GX mod store. Here's one that I prepared earlier. Opera GX, the browser for gamers, and it's 100% free because it's a browser. Nobody charges money for browsers, and you can get it and support the channel by either clicking the link in the description or the pinned comment, or just heading over to operagx.gg/jingles8 and break up with your boring old browser today. Thanks for putting up with the ad, that's the bills paid, and welcome back. So the Tier 8 Ipiranga, the Los Andes here at Tier 9, and the Tier 10 Libertad all share very similar features. First of all, they all have this funny button, Modified Secondary Munitions. This buffs the secondary firing range by 20%, reduces the reload by 15%, and increases the damage by 25%. So yes, these ships are all secondary brawlers. But what about those secondaries? Well as the fairly typical 127mm secondary batteries that you also find on American destroyers and American battleships, it has 8 of them, it also has these things. Those are 234mm guns. Those are 9.2 inch guns, and it has 16 of them. Yeah. Just to put this into context for you, the German Hindenburg, which is a Tier 10 heavy cruiser, has 4 guns less than that, and they're only 8 inch, not 9.2 inch. This thing, technically, with its secondaries alone, and the Tier 8 and the Tier 10 are the same by the way, has heavier firepower than the German, or any other heavy cruiser for that matter. Now it's not technically that straightforward and clear cut because these things will only fire high explosive. You won't be getting any armor piercing citadels with these things. But these are seriously big and heavy secondary guns. When you're in another secondary powerhouse battleship like a Massachusetts or a Bismarck or a Grosser Kurfürst with lots and lots of rapid firing 127, 128 or maybe even 150mm guns, it's not unusual to see lots and lots and lots of small numbers appearing on the targets that are being subjected to the fire of your secondary batteries. You don't see lots of small numbers when one of these Pan-American battleships is focusing its secondaries on something. You'll note that Trenlas is charging up the funny button here, which you can do in one of 2 ways, and I like the way this works. First, hit targets. With any of your 12 15-inch guns, although they do have a slow reload, 33 seconds, but, well, you know, 12 of them. quantity has a quality all of its own. And you charge up the funny button to buff the secondaries by doing one of two things. Hit targets with your main battery guns, which we've just seen. The funny button's about halfway charged up, but also by getting shot at. For every 1,000 points of potential damage directed towards you, it will also... And there we go, fully charged. Now he's not going to activate it immediately. He's going to want to make sure that he's at least clearing the firing arcs of as many of those 9.2-inch secondary batteries as possible to get his money worth out of it. The enemy Los Andes is actually in range, by the way. 12-kilometer range on these things, even without the funny button active, and he's using the manual secondary battery aiming skill to focus him down, increasing the accuracy of the shots. He's not using the funny button yet, though. The team have just lost a cruiser. It looks like Trenlas might be about to, yep, even the scores. Now pay attention. Even before he activates the funny button, pay attention to the damage numbers appearing on the Los Andes over there. Okay, 419, nothing special. Remember, these are secondaries. 4,500. And now the funny button's active. You can see the difference here, can't you? I mean, it doesn't get much clearer than that. If you're sailing something like a Bismarck, a Massachusetts, or a Grosser Kurfürst, you'll see lots and lots and lots of small numbers appearing over the target that's being battered by your secondaries. There ain't no small numbers when it comes to one of these Pan-American battleships. These secondaries clap butt cheeks. I mean, they have a slower reload, 7.5 seconds compared to the usually around 3.4 second reload of your typical 5 or 6 inch secondaries. But you can reduce that by 25% when the funny button's active. And I like the way the funny button works because it encourages you to play these things aggressively by staying in the action the way you really should be playing a battleship, because you charge up the funny button by hitting targets with your main battery guns and getting shot back at. Okay, a couple of shots out at the enemy Andalusia. However, the Schroeder over there is probably not going to last much longer. And Trenlas makes the entirely reasonable and 100% wrong assumption that after he'd killed everything else over on this flank, the friendly Isimo and Talon should, between the two of them, be able to take care of the Andalusia, who's in full retreat, as he switches his fire over to the other flank in an effort to at least try to get... No, the Schroeder's down, so they've all gone unspotted. So he is going to fight 3 enemy ships by himself here. He's going up against the Kearsarge, the Prinz Ruprecht, and the as yet unspotted Neptune. So while we're waiting for some targets to pop up... Oh, and as if by magic, there's one. The Kearsarge. Let's have a quick chat about the ship's other features. And we're talking specifically about the Los Andes here at Tier 9, but these things basically apply to the Ipiranga at Tier 8 and the Libertad at Tier 10. Let's talk about speed and manoeuvrability. The speed's alright. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's definitely not slow either. The Los Andes here has a top speed of 31.5 knots, which is fine. However, you can see that Trenlas has the brisk skill activated, which increases the speed of the ship when she's undetected. It's just gone inactive. The thing is, he's also got the new Pan-American commander, and he does lots and lots of interesting things. For a start, the brisk skill is enhanced, so rather than giving you the standard, I think, 8% speed boost while unspotted, it gives this ship 12.5%, which means that when you're unspotted and repositioning, this thing will go faster than 35 knots. Also, the captain has a couple of activated skills, which will boost the ship's speed even faster. More on that when it happens, and don't worry, we're not going to have to wait too long. As far as manoeuvrability is concerned, however, this ship is just silly. It accelerates way too quickly for something of this size. And the turning circle is incredible. Oh, hello, Neptune. Light cruiser getting focused by 9.2-inch guns. This is going to be fun. And he doesn't care that he's getting shot at. He wants to get shot at because he wants to activate that funny button again. So he can say to the Neptune and anybody else who's still alive after the Neptune's been battered into the middle of next week, say hello to my little friends. There it goes, it's active. Now there's a couple of things that are about to happen all more or less at the same time, and they're all related to the captain's talents. One of them's the relentless firing skill, which will activate upon hitting enemy targets 175 times once per battle with either the main or secondary batteries. 175 hits activates the relentless firing talent. Oh, ship speed increase. Alright, that's the other talent, Master and Commander. So both of these captain talents, relentless firing and Master and Commander, are both just activated at the same time. Note that the funny button hasn't fully depleted. It only dropped down to 20%. That's the Master and Commander talent. That activates after you've used the funny button twice. And there goes the Neptune, kill number 3. Which happened right after the Izumo died and Trenlas became the last surviving member of his team against 4 enemies. But anyway, these captain talents, because they all activate at the same time and it can be very confusing. So Master and Commander, which activated after he'd used the combat instruction for the 2nd time. This then means that it will never deplete lower than 20% for the rest of the battle, allowing you to get that funny button active much, much faster. It also increases the speed of the ship by 5 knots. Then there was the relentless firing talent, which triggered after he'd scored 175 secondary or main battery hits, and that lowers the reload of the guns by 5%, helping with that kind of slow 33-second reload. It also buffs the reload of those kind of slow firing 9.2-inch secondaries by 22.5%. So they are no longer slow firing 9.2-inch secondaries. All of those factors, in combination with the fact that he is the last member of his team left alive and he is getting shot up by 3 enemies, mean that, well, that funny button is going to charge up real fast, because as well as charging up when he scores hits, it also charges up when people are shooting at him, regardless of whether they hit him or not. It's activated on potential damage. And it's once again ready to go, which is going to be real bad news for the Kearsarge over there. Top tip when you're dealing with a hybrid like that: when its aircraft are active, you don't need to worry about it firing its guns at you, because it can't do both at the same time. Also, unlike Wargaming's favourite special snowflakes, actual aircraft carriers, hybrids like the Kearsarge are not immune to being set on fire. So there's kill number 4. 2 enemies remaining. Combat instruction depleted, but only down to 20% because the Master and Commander skill activated. Trenlas, of course, still getting shot at, but all of this is just charging up the funny button again. It's actually a fairly well armoured ship too. I completely forgot to talk about the armour profile. I mean, the bow and the stern are nothing special. They're standard tier 8, 9, 10 battleship 32mm plating. But the entire midship section has 51mm of deck plating, making all, and it's the same on the tier 8 and the tier 10, making all 3 of these new Pan American battleships pretty resilient when it comes to getting shot at by high explosive spam. 51mm of deck plating basically makes you functionally immune to heavy cruiser 8-inch high explosive, the Des Moines for example. 34mm of armour penetration, 51mm of deck. Although German heavy cruisers, ships like the Hindenburg, they get quarter caliber penetration, which means they have exactly 51mm of high explosive penetration, so you're not immune to them. You're also not immune to other Pan American battleships, because guess how much armour penetration 9.2-inch high explosive has? 59mm. As we saw the very unfortunate enemy Los Andes earlier getting absolutely clapped the second the funny button was active and he was getting focused by these manual secondaries. Prinz Ruprecht has torpedoes, doesn't it? Yeah, he's not stupid. He knows it's coming. He's not slowing down, but he is manoeuvring. This thing can take a beating. Honestly, I think these ships, realistically, I mean, I can't see how they're going to nerf them, but they do kind of need it. Yeah, there go the torpedoes. There'll be more torpedoes coming from this side. Assuming he has the firing angles, he can get them away. He's already turning to avoid them just in case. And there is the Kraken Unleashed. Kill number 5. There's only 6 players. This is ranked. There's only 6 players on the enemy team to begin with. And now, it's just him and the Andalusia. You know, the one that you left the Izumo and the talent deal with nearly 10 minutes ago. It's the last one left on the enemy team. Honestly, under these... And yet, sure enough, there are the Prinz Ruprecht torpedoes from the other side. Oh, yeah, very, very expertly judged. Beautifully dodged. Look at the turning circle on this thing, by the way. It's absolutely ridiculous. Under these circumstances, and considering that the Andalusia does have a 200-point lead in two of the cap circles, I mean, there's no way this match is going to end up timing out and being decided on points. There's still 7 minutes of the battle left. But with a 200-point lead, I mean, the Andalusia is at over 900 points. With two cap circles, he only needs to stay alive for another minute and he's won. So he really probably should be running away. However, with the brisk skill, a speed flag, and the master and commander talent active, he's doing more than 36 knots. I don't think the Andalusia can run away. Funny button active, there go the secondaries. I don't know exactly what the reload of those things are. Remember, they start at 7.5 seconds, but with the funny button and the master and commander skill, yeah. They're probably firing faster than 5-inch secondaries at this point. He's slowed down a bit now, of course, because he's spotted, so the enhanced brisk skill is no longer active, but I mean, that's not going to be an awful lot of consolation to that poor Andalusia. Wow. The regular secondaries, because it's got 8 5-inch secondaries as well, 6% chance of setting a fire on target. The 9.2-inch secondaries, 23% chance of setting a fire on target. There it is, kill number 6. He wiped out the entire enemy team in this ranked battle. And wow, look at that. Confederate, close quarters expert, Dreadnought, Kraken Unleashed obviously, Solo Warrior, last one alive against 4 enemies, and High Caliber. That was 107 hits with the main gun batteries and 285 with the secondaries. You'll probably get more secondary hits than that in something like a Massachusetts or a Grosser Kurfürst, but they won't do as much damage. That was a 3,000 base XP match. And the secondaries did 133,000 and set 16 fires, doing 34,000 damage. These ships, I mean, we've seen the Los Andes here at tier 9, but it's pretty much the same story with the Ipiranga at tier 8, and it's even more so with the Libertad at tier 10. These things really do need a nerf. But I hope they don't nerf them too soon, because I'm definitely planning on getting my money's worth out of them. And Trenlas absolutely did here. Destroyed the entire enemy team in this tier 9 ranked battle on the Okinawa map in the tier 9 Los Andes Pan-American battleship. Hope you all enjoyed it, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.